Hey Matt, Happy New Year. Do hope that you are keeping very well. First of all, just going to go through this practice swing you're making here with the swing guide. I think this is in essence really pretty good. Only a couple of little bits is your hands are moving a little smidgen away from your thighs in the first move here, as opposed to your right shoulder and right hip turning back a little bit more. Now, what your question was saying was, if I turn back with the shoulders, should the club come in? Well, yeah, the club will move in a smidgen on a mini arc as the body's turning away, because the way that the club is kind of kept outside the hands is if the cup in the left wrist is maintained in the first move. That makes the biggest difference to the first moving and to keeping the club head outside of the hands. If you try to keep it back in a straight line, you are 100% correct in stating that the arms will move away from the body. You don't want that to happen. So as the right side pulls away, you'll feel the butt of the club moving slightly closer to the right thigh. As this happens, the club head will move on a mini arc, but it's going to be outside the hands, and then as you set it, it will then go up the forearm with set and rotation, so the face is opening and rotating together. A great view of that is this little piece of footage I've got right here as a drill. When I put Mike Bedford in against the wall, okay, you see the club head's against the wall there, and as he turns, you can see the butt of the club moves closer to his right thigh here. The club head's outside the hands. Then the left wrist can cock from where the snuff box is, which is basically where the thumb meets the wrist bone. Right in there where you have an extension of a small bone from your thumb, that is the snuff box in there. Okay, now you've essentially made a really good move here, but your arms are just a smidge away from your body. Okay, it's only just a tiny bit disconnected. Love the setup through the forearm here. I think that you're doing a fabulous job of setting the golf club and having the arms in front of the body. I think this is a massive, massive, massive improvement on what you've been doing. If I was you, I'd be absolutely delighted with the progress you're making there. I think it's looking fantastic. Moving on to the next video that you've sent me here. This is the setup one, so you'll see you've got the hands into the clap position. As you drop down, I think you're getting pretty good there. If anything, you're dropping across a little bit too much with your upper body. Okay, a fraction more than I would be doing. So I'll pull you there, and I'll get myself into the clap hands position right here. Okay, just let me just get the video up. Okay, you can see where I am with the hands in the clap position. When the hand goes down, and this is the setup angle, you can see that you're just exaggerating the right side dropping back a bit. You see, I've more nudged into the left side and got myself in angled position. You can see how you have more gone backwards. So as you've dropped, we put a little line here on your right hip for you. Now as you go, we can see this goes in a lot, but your head moves over to the right a long way, because you've got quite a lot of axis tilt right here. This would be great for a driver, but not so great for an iron. You'd see here where my head starts, and as I slide down, how my head's, I've only got a tiny bit of axis tilt compared to yourself. Okay, so this is the difference. It's making sure that your head isn't going backwards too much. Apart from that, I think you're doing a fine job with the setup position. Okay, from that drill, just make sure that that head isn't dropping too much to the right hand side, as that's going to really affect you. Now, having a look at it from the rear view here, okay, my only issue is that the head is a tiny bit there. Tiny bit there, where your right ear is a little bit too level. You want your right ear lower than your left, so that as it's set up, it creates a full line in one, whereas you're a little bit curved coming into the head position. When I put myself into the setup position, this is the depth drill, but you can actually see where I am in terms of setup. You can see how my head and everything's fully lined up, and my head is lined up fully with the spine. So this is going to make a big difference to you in the terms that you're going to be able to turn. If you think about it, where your head's positioned, your head can drop forwards a little bit and cause the club to get outside the hands and a little bit outside the line. Because the head's too far forward, the arms are going to move away because the head wants to go towards the target. If you get the right ear lower than the left, everything's going to pivot away together, and you're going to be in a much stronger position to be able to get the golf club going back. So that's a critical one for you. Whilst I've got this piece of footage up of myself from the rear view here, I'm going to just highlight something for you. This is the turning point in the golf swing. Okay, the point that we'd never move off. So as I turn back, you can see I'm still on my turning point there. Now, if I bring in other students now, okay, I'll put a bit of good explanation onto your question from your email. Now you'd see Nico here, fully lined up at address. Here's the turning point. It's at the it's in between where the cervical and thoracic spine meet themselves. That's the turning point. You can see Nico's still on the turning point there. I'm still on the turning point. So essentially the sternum turns to the right and turns to the left, but where the cervical and thoracic spine meet one another, that is our turning point that we'd never move off. We can see that Nico's completely still on that turning point there. I'm still on the turning point myself. Okay. Now if I put in Mike Bedford from the rear view, let's raise that, get myself ready. There's Mike. We'd see at the top, he's still on the turning point. This is the point we want to be on. So the sternum turning to the right, turning to the left. So that means we're transferring weight to the inside of the right thigh, essentially. Okay, show you another student here, and he's going to be Mike Griffin. See Griff and his setup angles here. There's a turning point. Takes it back, still on the turning point. Okay, you don't want to ever see yourself moving off that. One last one for you to be able to view. Okay, it's going to be Matt Loving, and you'll see Matt from the rear view here. Turning point, still on the turning point. So that is your turning point. So it's essential that you know that. That's the axis of rotation you see here during the downswing. At impact, he's still on that turning point. That's the key to it all. You know, you're staying on that turning point. You know, you'll see here, Mike Bedford. You know, we're going to see again, very evidence, clear evidence. Sorry, of him on the turning point. So it's just still on the turning point, and there's been no backing out whatsoever in that golf swing. So it's important that you understand that that is the turning point. So you know, if you were going to have anything, what I'd look at maybe is having something like a little stick sticking out from you know, a door frame or something like that, and it poking you on that turning point, and you turn back and you still stay on it, and you see your sternum will have turned to the right of it. Then you'll feel yourself in the transition, sternum moving forwards, and as you unwind over the left side, the sternum moves to the left. So it turns to the right, turns to the left. Hope that one clears it up for you. Now, in terms of grip, this is excellent. I think you've done a fabulous job here with this, and I wouldn't change a single thing in it. Love this right here. This is fantastic. This area of the hand, of the right index finger, pressuring against the shaft in here. This is really good, and you should be dead pleased with how good that is actually looking. Now, going into the setup position. Okay, arms are definitely too far away from your body, they're not hanging straight down. I think they're probably an inch or so too far away. Also, what you're doing is when you're kicking your right side down, you're bending your right knee much more than you are doing the left. Both knees want to be bent to the same amount, not one more than the other, because what will happen here is your knees and then the hips will be a little open. So what will happen is the first move will be harder to turn away, so your club will track away and get a little bit closed. As that happens, it's going to be harder to get the golf club back on plane. So we can see here how, when you're in there, here's the back of the left knee, there, and here's the right knee right in here. Now, if I put a good setup position in next to you, let's use Conor Murphy for now, okay? We don't see both knees are exactly the same, okay? We see his brother, Aidan, we see both knees exactly the same. We'd see Hunter Mahan here with the driver, both knees the same flex. We see Mike Bedford here, both knees the same. So we're not seeing this kind of look. It has to be both knees the same flex for me. So the left knee does need bending. But you see all these guys, their arms are hanging down more. Yours are much more out. So what this means is that your left wrist ends up more angled upwards, whereas they're in this soft wrist position here, which is going to make it much easier to set the golf club and have it moving away correctly. You have a look at these guys again. Arms are hanging down, away. So you've got this soft wrist and you've got an angled wrist, which makes it much harder to set the golf club. Okay, so I'll just pull in another one for you. So we've got Mike, Aidan Murphy, we've got Stuart Appleby. Look how the hands are hanging, and look at the angle the hands are on, and look at the knees. The setup angles are just different, Lastly for you, let's put in Hogan, Mr. Hogan. There's a long guy in this particular one. See how much more how much softer the arms look, and the knees are of equal bend. Okay, we see in from this head swing here how much softer the arms appear. They're not high like you are. Okay, it's key to you making sure that you get this right for me, mate. Okay, now let's have a look at this from the front view. Okay, from the front view here, I think all you've done is you've just dropped that right shoulder a little bit too far behind yourself at the top of the golf swing. That's the only issue, but from the front view here, it's a pretty good setup. And my main issues are just that you're extending too far away from it here and just folding that right knee down and in too much, which is opening you out. Having a look at it from the rear view here, can you just see how you bump the lower half forwards, okay, but your head has moved across, but your right here is definitely staying high. So this is what's going to affect the pivot, and is going to affect the first move a little bit for you. Now having a look at this split hand drill, this is turning away well. Club face is rotating, and this is in a good position at the top. I like this a lot. Okay, arms are staying in front of the body, which is good, which is essentially what we need it to be doing. This is very important that you get them in front of the body like this. And we'll see it here with the stick. It's a great set because this is on the left hip He's shown a great first move here, staying on the hip, very one-pieced. If anything, the arms were a smidgen moving away, but I like the set. I like this move to the top. My only big thing is that the head is following this too much. So if you had that head's in a better position than on any of your other swings, but it doesn't want to be floating across as much as it is doing there. It's in pretty good shape here, and then we see a lot of float with the head. We don't want to see that. You want to see a much more stable head position, as we're going to see right here. If I just show you this one, you're going to see a much more stable head position. Yes, it's gone down, but it's staying in the position that it started in. Matt Loving here, you know, a stabler head as you could have ever had, Matt had. So that's one of the keys you're going to have to work at here. And I think once you get the idea of this turning point, it's going to help you a lot to start to achieve this move. So working at this turning point stuff, I want you to do that for me. Try and keep the head central, don't let it slide over from side to side. I think the drills are going well. This is going fantastic. I like the way you're keeping it in one piece. The one where I showed you front on, down the line where you've got the club against the wall, that'll help you to start to learn how it all moves away together in one piece, and what is going to be happening with the golf club in the first move as opposed to going down the line. It's moving on this little arc. The one with the stick looks great. Keep up the work on that. The split hands is good, just the setup's out again on that one, if I'm very honest with you. But apart from that, this is getting there. Okay, make sure that in the split hands you're not setting it with the right hand too early, and you are still getting a one-piece move, because you're just dragging it a touch with the right hand, which is shutting the blade a little bit there. Whereas what I would like to see on this split hands drill is this. Turn the body so the butt of the club goes along the right thigh to about the 8 o'clock position. Then it sets up and it's just the club face is a bit more open here, okay, and arms a bit more connected. Yours is just a little bit away. So it's getting the feeling for the first move of the butt of the club almost moving along the thigh, okay. An image in your mind that you could use, okay, is this under the shelf. Kind of, I'm holding a stick across Mike's hands here, okay, and what I then do is, you'll see that he turns away, keeps the hands underneath this stick. Is imagine me playing a glass. So there's the stick. Now he's just gone beyond that, and now he's letting it set. See how square the golf club face is right here relative to the arc. So all he'd have to do from there is continue to wind up, let the right elbow fold down, and keep the arms in front of the body. So at the top it'd be in front of the right pec. I hope this all helps. Have a look at the drills, refilm yourself, send it over to me, and we will reanalyze it in between this lesson and the next one. So we will do a mini lesson in between, analysing what has gone on in between the lessons. Hope this all helps, and speak to you soon.